Hi, welcome to Knigg's Corner. I'm Jerry. I'm your host. Well, it turns out the Red Sox are pretty streaky, aren't they? After winning 15 in a row and then going 3-3 and then winning 9 in a row, they've now lost 4 in a row. And we'll get to tonight's game, which could be rough. Anyway, let's move on. I love the way that Chad Tracy manages a game. He uses small ball. That's the way I coached when I coached American Legion ball. But it's certainly a difference from where Alex Cora managed. They've used the bunt more. I know that's taboo in sabermetrics, but still, they've used it, and they've used it to great extent where they've used the bunt to win games. But I think in the last couple of days, Tracy has hurt the Red Sox, the last 3 days. And the reason he's hurt them is because he's playing the long game. He wants to make sure this team is in good shape to play in the playoffs down the road. And I appreciate that. Honestly, I do. But I think he's gone too far with it. Let's start with Sunday's game. That game could have been used, a regular pitcher could have been used on regular rest. Instead, he went with a bullpen game. And it worked out great for him. He ended up going into the 8th inning with the lead, which is all you ever asked for the Red Sox with Whitlock and Chapman back there. And they let us down. Or they had a bad game where they each gave up a run with 2 outs, something they haven't done in a year and a half. So that's not his fault. But it did set the tempo. Then last night, I thought a monumental blunder. The Red Sox had the lead, 3-1 against Dylan Cease, which is what you're going for, to try to get runs any way you can. They were fortunate. They got a couple of home runs, one from Rafaela, one from Abreu, and they had a 3-1 lead with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th with runners on. Now, Sandoval has been Houdini getting out of jams for the most part since he's been brought back. He very rarely has a clean inning. But a game ago, they pulled him in the 5th inning and with a lead. And I thought they should have done that last night because I thought that was the game. Bring in Guerrero. He can get you out of the inning. You got a 3-1 lead. And then you go Slayton, Whitlock, Chapman, and one other to try to nail down the victory. Instead, he lets Sandoval stay in, gives up a sac fly. That's 1 run, 3-2. Then a base hit. Thought for sure they'd pull him then. But they didn't. And Guerrero rifled a shot down the right field line, and Abreu threw Guerrero out at second. Or they were still batting in that inning. And then, incredibly, he lets him pitch in the 6th. After all of that, and Guerrero and Sandoval gives up a run, and you knew that was going to be tough for us after that. And then he brings in Martinez instead of one of the real relievers. Now, I understand he has his winning relievers and he has his losing relievers. And by that, I mean guys you'll pitch when you have a lead or tied versus guys you'll pitch when you're trailing. And so Martinez is obviously one who was just brought up that you use when you're trailing, but he gave up another run, and that was it. I think the game really was lost on Tracy, and they are in a race. The race is not only to stay ahead in the wild card race, but it's also to pick up the second wild card, or the first wild card rather, so that they're home against the Yankees instead of the vice versa, where the Yankees are home against them. We saw how that worked out last year. I don't want to see a repeat of that. Second mistake I thought he made was, and it didn't come back to haunt them in any way, batting Rutschman third. Why? He had a hit, and he also got a couple of walks, so he wasn't a problem. But the middle part of that order is Abreu and Contreras, and then Durbin. You can slide Reichman into the 6th position, and it would work very well. I just don't understand it. It wasn't like he was tearing the cover off the ball for the Orioles before he was hurt, and now he's just back from an injury. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what he's done. So I think there's a few key errors by Tracy in the last couple of days. He's been great up to this point. No complaints, of course. He's wildly over 500 as a manager on a team that was 7 games under when he took over. So he's done a great job, but I think the last couple of days has not been really all that good. Let's see. Tonight is going to be a rough game. We've got Ranger Suarez going down. In his last 3 starts since coming off the injury, Suarez has gone 3 innings, 4 2/3, and 4. That's not going to get it done. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he tried to save his bullpen last night, knowing that you had Ranger going today. He's going against Jose Soriano, who just acquired by the Jays in trade. So, and he's a decent pitcher. They got him from the Angels. So we'll have to wait and see how that looks. But I'm not overly optimistic. And I don't, once you start losing games, it gets to be like when you're winning games, it gets to be a habit. More news on the plus side, they're saying that Roman Anthony is getting closer and closer to doing a rehab. Now, if you were a pitcher pitching to Roman Anthony, how many times do you think they're going to go inside and test him on the inside pitch while he's trying to protect that hand? Hopefully, the first time he hits it, it won't be what we all know as a setback, but time will tell. So I'm not all that souped up because Roman could definitely help him if he's anywhere near the player he was last year or what he was in the WBC. That over Duran would be a major step up, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So we got a game tonight, and we'll see game 3 of the series against Toronto, who's been tough on the Sox all year. So nothing surprising there. They did win 2 out of 3 of them against them when they were on the street, but we'll have to wait and see. So, all right, that's our show for today. I wish you well and go Red Sox. Once again, if you like the show, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and leave a comment. We love those. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.